Helo, noswaith dda, good evening. Croeso I amser stori eventer. Welcome to the Venture Story Time. Now today is Tuesday, the 7th of April, and on this date in 1827, John Walker, an English chemist, sold the first strike match. That didn't work. Then also on this date in 1948, the World Health Organization, which you may have heard of, had its first Global Health Day. And that day is today, so it's Global Health Day today. Then in 1949, the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical South Pacific opened on Broadway. And if you can hear that music, "Man Right Out of My Hair," it's where that song comes from. Also in 2001, the Mars Odyssey robotic spacecraft was launched. And today is Tim Peake's birthday, so Pembroke Hapis Tim Peake, the English astronaut. Hope you have a wonderful day. Now, you may have been watching last night when we started the Demon Headmaster, our new book. But after that video, we also shared some video from Karen from the early years. So before we get going on story time, we had a few comments on that video. Chantel McKenzie said, "Kenzie heard your voice and said, 'Let me look at Karen, mummy.'" Then we had Tansy Walters. She said, "Love the Teddy song. I've never heard that before." Well, glad you enjoyed that, Tansy. Jade Adams said, "Lila loved this, as did we all." Charlene Rigney said, "Lucas smiling at these songs." Carly Braisdell, "One happy little boy. Thank you, Karen." Kelly Alton Barnett said, "Oh, love your videos, Karen." And Melissa May Rodenhurst said, "Carter loved it. We all loved it, Karen, and we want more. So keep them coming in." Also on that video, Karen asked if people could send in the videos of their children or themselves singing, which we've already had 3 videos in. So a big thank you to Melissa May Rodenhurst, Chantel McKenzie and Kiara Pugh, who have all sent in videos. Keep an eye out for them tomorrow and we'll put them up on our page. And if you want to sing a song, then please send them in to us. You can send them in via the web, the Facebook page or our website, theventurewrexham.com, and we will put them together and put them on our page. It's really nice to catch up and see what everybody's been up to and to know that everybody is okay. So, on to the Demon Headmaster. So grab yourselves a hot drink. I've got my Pan d'Oreille tonight. Nice cup of tea on the UHT milk though now, as we're trying to cut down on the shopping. So, yesterday we met Dinah Glass, who was going to the Hunter household. There she met Mr. and Mrs. Hunter, and we also met Lloyd and Harvey. And that's about it. Where we left them was Dinah sticking out a hand to say hello to Lloyd and Harvey, and they were not very interested at all. So we joined them just after that meeting. So here we go. Chapter 2, Not a Good Beginning. So, "Hello," Lloyd said back. Dinah had just held out her hand and said hello, just as unenthusiastically. He stared down at her hand, but he did not take it. She was even worse than he had expected. A pale, pinched face and 2 stringy plaits. Crimson cabbages. She looked just like a wooden doll. She gazed awkwardly at the 2 of them, and they gazed back. "I'll tell you what," Mrs. Hunter said briskly. "I'm sure you'll get on better without a lot of grown-ups breathing down your necks. Why don't you boys grab some tea from the kitchen and take Dinah into the playroom? Then you can get to know each other properly. Off you go." With excessive politeness, Lloyd held open the door, open for Dinah, while Harvey went out to the kitchen for some food. A few moments later, the 3 of them were sitting round the playroom table, silently eating sandwiches. "Have another cheese sandwich, Dinah." Lloyd held out the plate. "No, thank you." "How about peanut butter?" Harvey said helpfully. "No, thank you." Another glass of Coke? Lloyd picked up the bottle. No, thank you. With a sudden snort, Lloyd exploded. That's all you've said so far. Yes, please. No, thank you. What are you, a robot? Perhaps she's shy, Harvey said kindly. Well, Lloyd said. No, Dinah said. Go on then, Lloyd prodded her. Say something. Tell us about yourself. Dinah drew breath. My name's Dinah Glass. I'm 11. My mother and father died when I was 1. I've lived in the children's home for 10 years. Her mouth snapped back shut again. Suffering crumpets, Lloyd made another clutch at his chaotic hair. She is a robot. Harvey smiled at her, encouraging. No, she's not. Go on, Dinah. Say some more. Aren't there any questions you want to ask us? Dinah sat for a moment, frowned slightly while she considered. Then she said, Tell me about school. I told you, H. I told you. Lloyd rolled his eyes dramatically upwards and banged the table. That's all she's interested in. Rotten school. It's going to be terrible. Dinah looked at him coldly. What's the matter? What's the matter? Lloyd jumped up, knocking his chair sideways. What's the matter? Scala sausages. Why should I want to talk about school when I'm not there? You'd think anyone would be glad to escape for a day or two and not have to think about... He paused, panting for breath. He doesn't like school, Harvey said. So I see, Dinah said. Why not? Lloyd looked craftily at her. Guess. What's the worst thing you can imagine in a school? With one finger, Dinah rubbed the end of her nose thoughtfully. Chaos? Children running around, shouting everywhere, and nobody keeping order? Lloyd gave a loud bellow of laughter, and Harvey grinned and shook his head. Nothing like that. Try again. Dinah frowned. Vandalism? Kids smashing everything up? Harvey giggled, and Lloyd looked scornfully at her. You haven't a clue. Not a clue. Just you wait until Monday. It won't be at all what you expect. He reached forward and switched on the television. You're not going to tell, Dinah said. Nope, said Lloyd annoyingly. Don't want to go on talking about school forever, do I? Anyway, can't you see what time it is? Dinah glanced round at the clock. 6 o'clock, but what does that... Don't you know what 6 o'clock on a Friday means? Lloyd sniffed. Didn't they watch the Eddie Hare show at your children's home then? Oh yes, Dinah shrugged. I just forgot. Well, good thing Lloyd remembered, Harvey said. We don't want to miss the great school quiz at the end of the programme because... Ouch! Lloyd gave him a sharp kick. Will you shut up about school, H? So I can't even ask him about it, Dinah said stiffly. With an irritating grin, Lloyd wagged his finger at her. Got you guessing. That's how I like it. The television screen flickered, and then a picture swam into focus. A man with long purple hair and purple painted face was standing on his head with his feet waving at the camera. Got you guessing, he said chirpily. That's how I like it. Dinah pulled her face at the screen. I think Eddie Hare is stupid. And you're even more stupid, Lloyd Hunter. I'll find out about your daft old school on Monday. For the rest of the weekend, Dinah avoided Lloyd and Harvey even harder than they avoided her. Whenever Mrs. Hunter sent them up to play with her, she was curled up on her bed, reading a book and not wanting to be disturbed. They hardly spoke to her again until Monday morning. Then, when they clattered down the stairs late for breakfast, she was already sitting at the table, neat and prim in a white blouse and a blue skirt and jumper, Lloyd stared at her. "What's that you're wearing?" "School uniform." She smoothed her skirt. "From my old school." Harvey was looking worried. "The headmaster won't like it." He sat down and heaped sugar on his porridge. "All green he likes. We all have to be green." Or else, Lloyd said with relish. Dinah ate her last spoonful of porridge and folded her napkin precisely. "Or else what?" "You'll see," Lloyd muttered darkly. "Pass the sugar, H. We don't want to be late." "Or else," Dinah said sweetly. She looked at them over her cup as she drank her tea. "Scared?" "I'm not scared of anyone," Lloyd blustered. "Not even the headmaster." "I bet you are," Dinah said. "Bet I'm not." Dinah smiled annoyingly. "I am," Harvey said calmly. "I'd be a fool if I wasn't. Shut up," Lloyd said sharply. "Don't tell her a thing. Let her find out for herself." He went on and ate his porridge. Harvey spooned his breakfast quickly into his mouth. He'd still not finished when Mrs. Hunter bustled in. "Oh, hurry up, hurry up!" She flapped round the room. "You'll all be late if you don't go in 5 minutes. Oh, I wish I could come with you, Dinah dear, but the gas man's coming, and I daren't go out. We'll be freezing to death if we don't get the central heating mended soon." That's all right," Dinah said politely. "I've written a letter to the headmaster, and the boys will take care of you. They know—" "Oh, Harvey, do get your coat on." Shoving and nagging, pushed them out of the front door, and they walked up the road in an awkward threesome. Dinah was on the outside, so then she'd have to step out into the gutter, trailing her feet through frosty leaves whenever they passed anyone. Lloyd kept as far away from her as he could and watched her carefully out the corner of his eye. As they approached the school, they began to see groups of children, all neatly dressed in green with white shirts and striped ties. They walked sedately along the pavement without laughing or joking, and Dinah looked at them curiously. "Funny," she said. "Don't they play or fight or anything on the way to school?" "Never," Lloyd said shortly. As the school came in sight, he and Harvey fell into step, marching with their eyes straight ahead. "Faster," Harvey said anxiously. "I've got to take the registers round, remember? The headmaster told me on Friday." Lloyd groaned. "Oh, why didn't you say, you idiot? You'll be late." "We could run," murmured Dinah. "No, we couldn't," snapped Lloyd. "No one runs." She opened her mouth to say something and then shut it again as she reached the school gates. Without any comment, all the children had stopped, took combs out of their pockets, combed their hair neatly, put their hats straight, and smoothed their ties. Dinah stared. Lloyd was dragging a comb through his unruly curls, and Harvey twitched nervously at the lapels of his blazer. "Will I do? He won't complain." "You're fine." Lloyd clapped him on the back. "Perfect. And I think you've got just enough time for the registers. Go in and do it as quietly as you can, so no one notices that you started late." With a nod, Harvey plodded round to the playground behind the school and began to walk up the steps into the building. Dinah glanced at him as she and Lloyd followed. Why was he worried? I thought he was quite tidy before he combed his hair. "Well, you would," muttered Lloyd. "You don't understand. I just hope he gets the registers out without any trouble." "Why should there be any trouble about registers?" Dinah sniffled. "That's silly." Lloyd opened his mouth to answer, but before he could say anything at all, a fair-haired boy came slouching across the playground towards them. He did not seem in a hurry, but as soon as he was close to Lloyd, he whispered with great urgency, "Quick! What was Harvey doing going into the school? I tried to catch his eye, but he didn't see me." "That's okay, Ian," Lloyd said. he's gone in to do the registers. Registers? Ian's face did not change from the casual, cheerful expression, but his voice sounded horrified. No, he's not. Rose came out and told Sharon to do them instead, because it was so late. She said the headmaster wouldn't have anyone else in there before the school started. Oh no, Lloyd gasped. Orange onions with silver skins. I'd better go in and try and get him out before anyone sees him. It won't matter, surely, Dinah said. If anyone sees him, they'll just send him out again. Lloyd and Ian looked contemptuously at her. You'll see, Lloyd said. Here. He fished his mother's letter out of his pocket and handed it to Dinah. Take this. Without another word, he was off, hurrying up the steps into the school. Ian turned away and Dinah was left standing all alone in the playground, shivering in the bitter winter cold. She looked thoughtfully up at the school. At one window, she could see a motionless figure in a green blazer with a large P sewn onto one pocket. It was gazing down through the window, but not at her. Its eyes were fixed on the steps which Harvey and then Lloyd had just hurried. Dinah stared at it for a moment and then, with a shrug, turned back to the playground. And that's the end of chapter 2. Well, there's something not quite right about this school, is there? Harvey and Lloyd seem to be really cautious. Harvey in particular seems quite scared. And I think even though Lloyd says he's not, I think he is scared of the headmaster. And how come everybody stopped, combed their hair and straightened their hats at the same time? There's definitely something tricky going on here. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Please, let's have a look who was watching with us. Nicholas James. Hello, Nicholas. Playworker Rhiannon. Hello, Playworker Rhiannon. Hope you're doing well. Sian Francis and Daniel Bright. Well, lovely of you all to join us. We hope that you enjoyed chapter 2 and we hope that you will join us. And perhaps it's called The Headmaster. So perhaps we'll find a little bit more out about the Demon Headmaster. Well, that's all we've got time for story time today. So diolch am wylio. Thank you for watching. And all that's left for me to say is breuddwyddion dda, sweet dreams, nos da, good night, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta rwan.